So, guys, the parliamentary chief whip of the ANC, Mr. Mdumiseni Ntuli, has responded to the letter of the MK party demanding President Ramaphosa to resign today. You remember yesterday the MK party went on social media and they released a statement saying that President Ramaphosa must resign today on the 18th of July 2025 to honor Nelson Mandela. They are saying that President Ramaphosa has failed the people of this country, and if Cyril does not resign, then the MK party is going to take action against that. So, this is the statement that was released by the MK party yesterday. And this statement says that Umkhonto we Party issues Mandela Day deadline for Cyril Ramaphosa to step down. The Umkhonto we Party has formally delivered a letter of demand to Cyril Ramaphosa, calling on him to resign from office by 9 a.m. on Friday, the 18th of July 2025, in honor of Nelson Mandela, the founding commander-in-chief of Umkhonto we. Should Ramaphosa fail to heed this call, the MK party will pursue a range of lawful, peaceful actions, including constitutional litigation, a motion of no confidence in parliament, and rolling mass action nationwide. These steps reflect the will of the people, who, though democratic means, delivered a decisive electoral verdict against the African National Congress under Ramaphosa's leadership. It is deeply regrettable that, despite the clear message from the electorate, the will of the people has been undermined by the opportunistic political alliances. The so-called Government of National Unity formed by the DA, Freedom Front Plus, and their collaborators has effectively reinstalled the same ANC that South Africans has voted out. This betrayal has sparked widespread public outrage and represents a direct affront to democratically accountability. The recent explosive revelations by General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi further exposed the GNU as deeply compromised arrangement, more aligned with the criminality than with the constitutional mandate to serve the people. The MK party views the GNU as the most dangerous political fraud in post-apartheid South Africa, enabling the continued theft of our land, resources, and dignity. The MK party calls on Cyril Ramaphosa and the GNU to respect the voices of the people before irreparable damage is done to South Africa's democratic institution. The time for accountability and ethical leadership is now. So this is a letter that was posted by the MK party yesterday on social media, telling South Africans that, guys, these are the steps that we want to take if Cyril Ramaphosa, or these are the steps that we are going to take if Cyril Ramaphosa does not step down. So the MK party said that should Ramaphosa fail to hit this call, the MK party will pursue a range of lawful, peaceful actions, including constitutional litigation, a motion of no confidence in parliament, and rolling mass actions nationwide. So these are the threats that the MK party has sent to the African National Congress and President Ramaphosa. So the chief whip of the ANC has actually responded to that to say that the ANC is not shaken by these things that are said by Umkhonto we party. And guys, 9 a.m. has passed and the news hasn't came in that the president has resigned, meaning that President Ramaphosa is still the president of this country. So we are going to see what the MK party is going to do. But before that, guys, let's listen to what the chief whip of the ANC is saying about these demands that were made by the MK party.
No, not at all. You see, the MK party has taken a very strange position of opposing literally everything that has got to do with the government. Everything that is before parliament, including a budget that must be approved in order for them as MPs to be paid salaries. The MK will not agree with that because they've been told by their strong man, their leader, that you must never agree to anything that has got to do with that African National Congress. And so that's how they operate, which is not very rational. I don't think that we can be shaken by the threat of a vote of no confidence against President Ramaphosa. Adrian, let me just make this point.
And guys, right now we are talking about two political parties that are similar, man. You look at the ANC, you look at the MK party. These are two political parties that the ANC was led by Jacob Zuma at one point, and now Jacob Zuma is the leader of the MK party, and the MK party and the ANC are fighting. I remember yesterday when we did this update, some people said that no, man, as much as some of these things that the MK party says make sense, but why should we rally behind the MK party? And a lot of people have actually made arguments that Some political parties like the DA and the EFF will not vote with the MK party if the MK party tables a motion of no confidence against Ramaphosa. I've heard people actually making those arguments that no, man, there's absolutely no way that the DA is going to vote with the MK party. The DA will not vote with the MK party, and they don't think that even the EFF will go as far as voting with the MK party. You look at Action SA, you look at Build One South Africa, you look at Patriotic Alliance. How many of these political parties can actually go behind the MK party? Because again, this thing is a bit complex. If the MK party poses a motion of no confidence against Ramaphosa, then again we have to think about if Ramaphosa is removed as the president of this country, then who is going to be the president of this country? Paul Mashatile. Ah man, it's bad, man. It's bad. And these are just some of the things that the people were debating about yesterday when we did this update about the MK party threatening to table a motion of no confidence. So I don't know, guys. What are your thoughts? Do you think that the DA will never vote with the MK party, despite the MK party maybe doing what is right by tabling the motion of no confidence? Because me, guys, personally, I've already said that I would like to see a motion of no confidence tabled against Ramaphosa so that I can see the political parties and how they are going to spin this one around. You know, going into 2026, it is going to be very interesting to see how politics is going to unfold, especially when you look at the GNU. When you think about the political parties in the GNU and the fact that most of these political parties made it where they are by bashing the ANC, but today they are the alliances of the ANC and they still have to go out and campaign for the people of this country and to somehow convince South Africans not to trust the ANC and trust them. I wonder how they are going to campaign. I actually wonder how the messaging is going to be like for the political parties, especially that are in the GNU. When it comes to the DA, I think the DA is partially safe because the DA has been fighting with the ANC, so it is going to be easy for them to go to their constituency to say that, guys, you've seen our fight against the ANC. Even this president of the ANC has fired our minister. So this just shows you that we've been fighting with the ANC. We've taken these people to court. Ramaphosa implemented such and such, and we have taken him to court for implementing those things. So the DA, I think, is partially safe. They can still go out and bash the ANC despite being in the government of national unity. I'm looking at the political parties like IFP. I'm looking at political parties like Patriotic Alliance. How are they going to campaign? How are they going to convince South Africans to vote for them? Because you know how politics works, especially in South Africa. It is not about the policies. It is not about holding other political parties or politicians accountable. It is about the character. So they always go at each other's character. Are these people going to attack Ramaphosa? Are they going to attack Ramaphosa? And then I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they are going to be able to do that. I don't think they are going to be able to do that. This is just my opinion because looking at the ANC and the fact that the ANC has fired the DA's Deputy Minister of Trade, Industry and Competition, Andrew Whitfield, I think somehow it was a message from the ANC to all their alliances in the government of national unity to say that if you don't hold the line, then Ramaphosa is going to fire you. And we know how politicians operate. These people love the money, they love the blue lights, and they will do anything to keep the money and to keep the blue lights. And I think somehow it was a message from the ANC to these political parties in the GNU to say that you must hold the line. You must toe the line. If you don't toe the line, then we are not going to afford you these benefits that you are enjoying right now. So, politics in South Africa, guys, is still going to be very interesting. It is still going to be very interesting. But then, let me digress. Let's go back to the chief whip of the ANC.
No, not at all. You see, the MK party has taken a very strange position of opposing literally everything that has got to do with the government, everything that is before parliament, including a budget that must be approved in order for them as MPs to be paid salaries. The MK will not agree with that because they've been told by their strong man, their leader, that you must never agree to anything that has got to do with that African National Congress. And so that's how they operate, which is not very rational. I don't think that we can be shaken by the threat of a vote of no confidence against President Ramaphosa. Adrian, let me just make this point. If there are grave allegations against a minister, as it is the case with Comrade Senzo Mkhulu, these allegations are very grave, which were leveled by the KZN Police Commissioner, Lieutenant General Mpanas. Very, very serious allegation. We've got to get into the bottom of those allegations. But if you stand up, if the president were to...
Then what's going to happen when you get to the bottom of those allegations? Because I feel like this is something that you should have mentioned. That if we are going to pour so much money into this commission, then when we get to the bottom of what is happening, what is going to be our action? Because just getting to the bottom of things actually helps no one when there's no accountability. And we've seen with many commissions that there's no accountability. So what is it exactly that the president of the ANC is going to say or is going to do when he actually gets to the bottom of these allegations? And maybe the ANC should have just made an example, or the president of the ANC should have made an example to say that if we get to the bottom of these allegations and find out that such and such have committed crime, then we are going to fire people, heads are going to roll. But then again, it will just be a promise from Cyril Ramaphosa. I don't think that there's anything specific that they are going to do.
We've got to get into the bottom of those allegations. But if you stand up, if the president were to stand up and say, I fired this minister because there are allegations, what happens when tomorrow there are other allegations against another minister? The president must stand up and fire that minister. Allegations against the chief whip must be fired. We don't run a country like that. That is the politics of strongmen. How you run a country is that when there's an allegation, you must set up a legitimate platform.
So when these people say what General Ntantla Mkhwanazi said are allegations, are they actually trying to convince us that no one knew of these things that the general is speaking about? So much so that we had to set up a commission of inquiry and go around and saying these are allegations as if that we didn't know this was happening. Are these people actually expecting South Africans to believe that they didn't know anything that was happening? Honestly. Because they keep hammering that these are allegations, but I don't think that South Africans think what the general has said are allegations. And I also don't think that the president thinks what the general has said are allegations. We are talking about two people that are privy to the intelligence. And if the general comes out and says that according to the intelligence, this is what is happening, and obviously the president should know what is happening because he's the president of this country, he is briefed about the intelligence. So how can you still come out and say these are allegations? It just boggles my mind. It just boggles my mind that such a big story has exploded in this country and we have not seen heads roll. We have not seen heads roll. And like I've said, guys, do not expect anything much from this thing of General Ntantla Mkhwanazi. They are going to find the way to whistle out of it. They've whistled out of many situations. So this situation with General Ntantla Mkhwanazi, I don't think that it is new to them. So don't expect much.
Through which the nation can be afforded an opportunity on its own to listen to the presentations by those who are leveling accusation against a particular official of government, and for that official of government equally to respond to those accusations. We can only blame the president for inaction or failing to act once that process has run its course and maybe there's evidence, concrete evidence that something fundamentally wrong, which is involving a minister in this case.
I mean, like, this is the same reason why people are bashing the president right now, because they can see the previous commission of inquiry and they know that the evidence was produced in the previous commission of inquiry and nobody was held accountable. This is the reason why people do not have a trust in Ramaphosa and they are outraged by him saying that there should be another commission of inquiry, because they've already seen with the State Capture Commission that after the commissions, there's no consequences. This is the reason why people are harsh on him. So you cannot sit there and say the president can only be judged if there's lack of action. There's already been lack of action. And this is the reason why this commission is starting, and one of the people that are being whipped a lot is the president, because he failed to act on the previous commission. What actually makes people think that he's going to act on this one? This is the exact reason why people are saying whatever that they are saying about him.
Presentations by those who are leveling accusation against a particular official of government, and for that official of government equally to respond to those accusations. We can only blame the president for inaction or failing to act once that process has run its course, and maybe there's evidence, concrete evidence that something fundamentally wrong, which is involving a minister in this case. But without running that process, I can tell you, we will have no government. Everybody is going to stand up and say, I know this one has done the following things. No investigation, go. The next person, no investigation, go. By the time the country wakes up, we would realize that we're no longer in a democratic country where you have to run processes in order to prove veracity or otherwise of any allegations. We are only subjected to the politics of strongmen. No.
Like it's quite funny how these people pretend like the previous investigations had actually yielded any results. He's pretending like the previous investigations have yielded any results. But then again, this is ANC and this is politics. This is ANC, this is politics. And now we are watching a mud fight between the ANC and the MK party. The ANC and the MK party. I don't know. What do you think, guys? Please tell me what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button and the most important part, subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabaso. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.